Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over my final team selection for game week 24. I'm also potentially using my wildcard this week as well because of all the doubles that have been announced. We're going to break all of it down today. If you're excited for the video, drop a like down below. Leave a comment, are you thinking of playing your wildcard? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, we're going to go over my final team selection as of right now, my transfers, and then we're going to go over my wildcard team as well that I've also put together. So there's quite a few things to kind of take a look at today. But in goal, we do have Martinez, who's got Man United at home. Again, not the best fixture, but not the worst fixture at all. Turner with Newcastle at home. Again, he's been dropped anyway, so I highly doubt that he's even going to be in that squad. Well, he'll be in the squad, but obviously he won't be the number one. So I've got to play Martinez anyway. And that's one of the reasons that I am going to be potentially playing my wild card, because I now only have one playing goalkeeper. But yeah, if I wasn't going to play it this week, then I do have Martinez in goal at home to United. At the back, we have Pedro Porro, who's got Brighton at home, Gabriel, who's got West Ham at home, and then Estepinian, who's got Spurs away. So this also has a couple of problems within it. So first of all, Porro obviously is a really good option, but at the same time, does blank in 26. Spurs can't keep the ball out of the back of the net. And I just think that even though he has still been on like set pieces and stuff, I think that Maddison will begin to take them off him. So there's not really any reason for me to keep this player. Like, I still think he's a good asset, but he's quite expensive. And as well as that, he just hasn't really been returning at all. Like, if we'll go over his last few games, you know, obviously they got the he got the assist in that United game, but they have not kept a clean sheet for well, since game week 17 against Forest. And apart from that, his only returns have obviously been from assists. And now that Maddison's back as well, I think that is just going to hinder it even more. So that's the reason I want to get rid of Porro. Obviously, Gabriel with West Ham away, that's fine. I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet this week regardless, but it's not a player that I would get rid of anyway. I think Arsenal defense is just something that you should have in your team. They just have one of the best defenses in the league, and Gabriel is just like a sure starter now, and he's still cheap, and he's just really worth having. The other problem in my defense is Estepinian. So I brought him in because of these really, really good fixtures coming up, but because of that benching last week, like the first fixture he came off that I brought him in, I think he came off on like the 60-something minute, which was fine because he got a big 8-pointer. However, though, he didn't start the next game. So that's just a massive issue, especially with these blanks coming up in game week 26. I kind of need to field players that are going to be playing. And as of right now, Estepinian is not one of those players that I can guarantee is going to start. So not only do I have 1, 2, 3, 4 players blanking anyway, I also have players that are in the squad that may not even play, like Estepinian and Dan Burns. So as you can see, there's just a lot of issues happening with my squad right now. And I know I'm just kind of talking myself into this wild card, but I've been thinking about it. And those doubles as well that got announced as well are just kind of helping even more so. But anyway, that's the back line if I don't play my wild card this week. I do have obviously got Dan Burn on the bench, who's got Forest away, but I just don't think he's going to start. After that performance against Luton, it's very unlikely that he starts. And obviously Estepinian's got the better attacking potential. But obviously I could get it wrong. Dan Burn might start, Estepinian might be benched. It is what it is. In midfield, we've got Douglas Luiz. This just wasn't the best transfer at all. Obviously with Villa playing in 29, is it? Obviously, it's nice that I've got 3 Villa players, and that's the only thing that's kind of like not made me already play the wild card. I was also waiting on like Salah news as well before I like played it, and obviously we have an update on that which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, Douglas Luiz, Villa have got nice fixtures coming up, but it's just there's just better options, and you know they don't double or anything like that. So personally, I don't think it's worth really having him. Plus, he came off at halftime as well in that Sheffield United fixture. And again, I don't want players that are not going to be playing at least like 70, 80 minutes, because it's going to be like scraps in like game week 26 and stuff like that. So that's another player that I do want to get rid of. So as of right now, I want to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4 players. 5 players if you're talking about Kabore as well. So that's Porro, Estepinian, Douglas Luiz, Kabore, and Dan Burns. That's 5 players I already want to get rid of. Foden is a sure stayer in my team. He's not going anywhere. You know, he just scored a hat-trick. They've got the double coming up, and I just think that with Pep's comments, it's just not a player that I'm going to be dropping. He has just had a price rise as well. I think I actually brought him for 8 mil. He dropped to 7.9, scored a hattie, and now he's back up to 8 mil, but he's not a player that I'd get rid of anyway. The other player, Cole Palmer, I mean, now that with like the blanks, and they're going to blank in 29 as well because they got through against Villa, and the fact they've got City away coming up, he's a really tough hold for me. Like, he's not a player that I would want to get rid of because, like I say, he's just involved in everything with Chelsea. But at the same time, they blank in 26. They're probably going to blank. I think they blank in 29. They've got City away coming up, and then even between that, they've got Brentford away, Newcastle at home. Like, there's not really any incredible fixtures that warrant me keeping him. And of course, I think he will score over these next few fixtures and stuff. But at the same time, is he going to outscore other players that I'm going to bring that have got like doubles and stuff like that? So yeah, he's not a player that I'd want to get rid of, but I don't mind getting rid of. So I wouldn't really count him up to a 6th player I want to get rid of, but you know, it is what it is. Saka with West Ham away, not a player that I want to get rid of, but I think I would be getting rid of on a wild card. Obviously, Arsenal are fine to keep just because they don't blank and stuff like that. But, you know, when they don't blank in 26, they've got Newcastle at home, which isn't the most ideal fixture. But then again, Newcastle haven't kept the ball out the back of the net at all. You know, they conceded 4 to Luton. And I think Arsenal will probably just dominate that game. But at the same time, it's not the best fixture on paper, and you never know what's going to happen. So that's the midfield there. Again, out of these players, I definitely want to keep Foden and Saka. Palmer's, you know, a maybe. And then up top, we've got Haaland, who obviously I wouldn't be getting rid of. He's fine. He'll be my captain this week as well, most likely. And then we've got Watkins, who I can't justify getting rid of because I brought him in at 7.8 and he's now 8.8. So I will make a bit of money on him. So I think I can sell him for 8.3, which again, I would still be losing 0.5 on. And, you know, I'll be wanting to bring him back anyway. So I just don't think it's really worth, like, so that's not a player I would want to get rid of. And then Solanke's a tough one, really. Like, I don't mind getting rid of Solanke at all. Like, yes, they do double in 28, which is fantastic. It's an incredible double as well. But before that, they've got Fulham away, which isn't an easy fixture. Newcastle away, which could be a tough fixture. Then they've got City at home. And then I can just bring him back in on game week 27. I don't have a lot of money tied up in him either. I think I bought him for like 6.8 maybe. And now he's, what, 7.1. So I don't mind not having Solanke because he's just easily buyable. And like I say, the fixtures aren't ideal coming up. And then when he does get those really nice doubles, I can just bring him back in. So that's the thinking about that. And then the bench, I just want to get rid of all of it. Like I say, Turner needs to go. Salah, the Salah comments have made me want to get rid of him now. So he said that he's obviously not ready for Burnley. And then he said he should be like... He said that, like, he's either going to be back in training or something like that, like next week or the week after. He said that Salah would say next week, but he doesn't know if it's like the week after for him. So that's like, for me, it's just the green light to get rid of him. There's no reason I would keep him at all now. And I know I've got a bit of money saved up in him, and if I want to buy him back, then obviously that'll be a whole situation. But as of right now, it's not worth having him in my team because I have no Liverpool in this team because obviously Salah's not playing, and they've got Burnley at home and then a double. So a wild card would obviously just help me get those players in. And then Dan Burn and Kabore, obviously I just want to get rid of. So looking at it, I want to get rid of my whole bench. So that's 4 players. Martinez is 5, Porro is 6, Estepinian is 7, Douglas Luiz is 8. Solanke is 9, and then Palmer could potentially be 10. So that is like a lot of players that I would like to get rid of for a wildcard draft, and it would just set me up for the doubles. So obviously, if I don't play the wildcard this week, which again I'm not completely convinced I'm going to, even though it literally only sounds like I'm going to be doing it throughout this whole video, my transfer this week would be Salah to Jota. I think that's just pretty self-explanatory. So Diogo Jota, that would be my transfer this week. So I'd have him for Burnley at home, I'd have him for the double. And I would have, next week, I would also get rid of either Burn, Porro, or Estepinian for Virgil van Dijk. So it would probably be, I mean, Estepinian's got Sheffield United away, so it'd probably be Dan Burn. So I'd bring him in for Virgil van Dijk. That would be my transfer in 25. So I'd have, you know, 2 Liverpool for 26. So for 26, my doublers would be Haaland, Foden, Diogo Jota, and Virgil van Dijk. So I'd have 4 doublers. I mean, I'd have Kabore as well, but he's not going to, you know, he's just not going to play. So I'd have 4 doublers for game week 25, which is, obviously, that sounds fine on paper. However, though, when we go into game week 26, unfortunately, that's where the problems arise, because I have 5 players that are blanking, being Diogo Jota, Virgil van Dijk, Porro, Kabore, and Palmer. So that's 5 players I already don't have. And then also I have Estepinian, who might be benched. So that's 6 players that I wouldn't have playing. So that would be obviously just terrible, because if none of those play, which again they won't, plus Estepinian might not, I would have, what, like 8 players playing? And that's obviously like, that's before a transfer, but like, you know, I'd still have like, you know, 9 players playing before I start taking hits and stuff like that. So it just isn't, like, in my opinion, in my best interest to just keep this team as it is. Like, I've made some really, really bad transfers. Like, Douglas Luiz was bad, Estepinian was bad, Dan Burn was bad. I've had Kabore, like, all season, which isn't ideal. And, yeah, there's just problems in my team that, you know, a wild card could save. So if we go into my wild card, so this is the wild card that I've kind of come up with. So I still have 1.1 mil in the bank. My goalkeeper options are Kaminsky and Dubravka. Now, obviously, Newcastle's defense hasn't been ideal, and this could be Areola as well. It's not like the worst kind of idea to have him instead, but we've gone for Dubravka. Obviously, Kaminsky, I'd play him anyway this week. I would play him in the double, even though it's an awful double, and then he blanks in 26. I'd have to play Dubravka, who's got Arsenal away, which, again, isn't the best fixture, but it's just something you have to deal with. So that's that. They're the keepers. Again, that's still a little bit like up for debate. The back line, we have Gabriel, Virgil van Dijk, Reguilon, Doherty, and Van Heck. So I have all sure starters, really. I mean, Reguilon, I'm pretty sure he is a sure start. I mean, he got 78 minutes against City. He's on some set pieces, which are obviously what Brentford score a lot from. You don't have to have him. Like, you could have Ben Mee or someone instead if you wanted to, but he's mainly just bench fodder, really. Until, like, I'd have to make, like, other transfers and stuff like that. So that's why he's kind of in the team. But yeah, Gabriel, Virgil van Dijk over Trent, just simply because it gives me more money, and as well as that, you know, I'm not 1000% sure that Trent is going to be playing Burnley and then the double as well. So I just don't. I mean, obviously Trent is a lot more attacking, but Virgil van Dijk can still score a header, stuff like that. So that's fine. And then I've also got Doherty and Van Heck. So obviously with the double up now in 26 and 28, in 25 and 28, should I say, I feel like I have to have at least a couple of Luton players. And then, yeah, Van Heck, he's just like an easy player that I can play, you know, every week. He's just got good fixtures coming up. And again, the defense doesn't look ideal. I mean, especially in 26, like, I'm going to have Van Heck, Reguilon, and Gabriel, but it's not the worst thing in the world, you know? It is just one of those things. And I'll have transfers by 26 as well, so I'll always be able to do that. In midfield, we have Diogo Jota, Garnacho, De Bruyne, Foden, and Richarlison. So I have another 3 doublers here in this midfield. I get to bring Richarlison in because that has been killing me not owning him this season. Obviously, he does blank in 26, but in 29, they've got like a decent fixture and stuff, and I'm fine just having him for that. And obviously, if I do need to start bringing in Son, then that's obviously a different conversation. But, you know, I've got Diogo Jota that I can always get rid of and bring in for, like, Son and stuff like that. So I'm fine with, like, having Richarlison. Obviously, Foden and De Bruyne both doubling. I'm absolutely fine with that. And then they've obviously got Garnacho. He's got a nice fixture in 26. And then obviously Diogo Jota blanks, but has those doubles coming up. And honestly, when Salah's back, it'll probably be when I start getting rid of, like, my Liverpool players, midfielders and stuff anyway. So that's that. And then up top, we've got Watkins, Darwin Núñez, and Haaland as well. So with this draft, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doublers in 25. In 26, obviously, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 5 outfield players blanking. Obviously, my losing goalkeeper as well, but I can play Dubravka, so that's fine. So I have 5 outfield players blanking. I would have to make two free transfers, which obviously is what I would do, because going into game week 25, I'll have a transfer, and then going into game week 26, I'll have a transfer. So I'll use those 2 free transfers to probably get rid of my Liverpool players, and bring in, like, a different defender, and also get rid of Diogo Jota. And I've got a lot of money saved up in Virgil van Dijk as well. So if I get rid of him and bring in, like, a 5 mil player, you know, that's an extra, like, 2 mil in the bank that I can easily use on, like, Diogo Jota or someone like that to upgrade, whatnot. So that's what I would do for 26. And then obviously 27, yada yada, 28, and then 28 comes across. So 28, I'd obviously have to start thinking about bringing in Solanke and maybe another, and I'd probably have to bring in, like, Senesi or something like that for Bournemouth, which I'm obviously fine with. And I obviously have, like, 2 Luton players as well. I mean, I could bring in Barkley as well, who obviously has a double, but I don't think it's necessary, and that would just kind of make me have to get rid of him for 26. Whereas, you know, with this, I can just kind of, like, pick and choose who I want to get rid of. So that's 28. And then 29 obviously comes around, which is when I would probably play, like, my free hit. I think I would have to with this team. And then obviously game week 30, and then obviously you got, like, the big doublers coming up. Like, you got the big doubles in, like, 34 and 37. Which, you know, maybe is when I would start thinking of playing my bench boost and stuff like that. So obviously I would triple captain Haaland in 25, You could bench boost really as well if I wanted to, but yeah, I think I'll just be tripling. I think I'll just triple Captain Haaland. So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm kind of looking at. And then yeah, free hit 29. And then yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be like dead-ending their team into 29 and then wildcarding in 30, which is fair enough. That is obviously a way to do it, and that is something I could do as well. It's just, I think if I keep my team the way it is now, and again, it's all team dependent, then I think it just causes a lot of issues with me. I think Game Week 26 is just going to be a nightmare, because I will literally have like 8 players playing before hits, and it's not even like a good team either. So yeah, the only issue obviously with this is that I don't have Saka, I don't have Palmer, who are both highly owned, but you know, I've got a lot of doublers coming up, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna sleep on it tonight. Obviously, price rises and stuff isn't a massive issue because I've got 1.1 mil in the bank. I mean, one thing that I could do is obviously just keep Palmer instead of Garnacho, which I do have the funds for. It's just the only issue is obviously he just blanks in 26, and you know, bringing him back in obviously is 5.9. So yeah, I still got 0.4 in the bank if I do that. So I could keep hold of Palmer, but it just doesn't really like it doesn't really benefit me, really. Like, I'm not going to be playing him this week because I would obviously have 3-4-3, and then I would not play him against City. So yeah, I think it just makes sense to not have him and just bring in Garnacho instead. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to think on it tonight, see what's happening. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning more towards playing this wild card, and then yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to attack the doubles, you know, and I think it would just put me in a much better spot. And there's a lot of players that I've been needing to get out of my team for so long as well. So this would just allow me to do that. So that's what I'm going to do, I think, but we will see. But you know, that's just everything that I've kind of been thinking about for this game week so far. But if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. It's trying at 50 likes. Leave a comment. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should just, you know, make these transfers, bring in Jota, bring in Van Dijk, and then just crumble at game week 26? Or do you think that wildcard is on the cards? But either way, subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. It's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.